What's up, everybody? It's your boy Adam back at you once again. It is hashtag homeless. It's day 84. I'm in the park where I normally like to be, and it's about as quiet as it gets here, which isn't very quiet at all, but it'll do. I'm gonna jump right into whatever I had to talk about. So I noticed that the video yesterday, once again, it got a little bit jacked at the end. The audio cut out, the sync was off. I don't really know what happened, but I looked into the issue a little bit, and it seems that the app that I'm using right now to record the video, that is what glitched out. It wasn't YouTube, it wasn't, and there's about 3 or 4 different apps in the process of this video thing, and the app that I used to record the raw video, that was what glitched out. So I was able to look at the original video file, scrub the timeline to the end, and see that it was a little bit wacky. So really isn't anything I can do about it right now, but it really seems to only happen at the end of these videos when it does happen. I don't know if there's a pattern to it. I don't know if there's something that causes it, but these apps are just, they're garbage. So all the apps that we use for our existence anymore, every piece of software we use is a piece of trash. I can't even count the number of bugs I encountered yesterday across all the different apps that I use, and that's just how it is, man. That is why I'm driving a stick shift with locks on my vehicle that you lock yourself. If I get another vehicle, it's gonna be like my old my Wrangler that I lost when I was arrested. That Wrangler it was manual everything. It had cranks for the windows to roll the windows up and down. It had manual door locks. It had a stick shift. There was nothing on that vehicle that Joe Biden or his henchmen can type in on a computer and make my vehicle go haywire. I know all the new vehicles have that now, and it's really hard, but I'll look for something used. I want a manual vehicle that doesn't have all this electronic nonsense. And so that's how anti-self-driving car I am. There's no way I'm driving Elon Musk's, or rather, I'm not driving it, but there's no way I'm letting Elon Musk's self-driving car take me on a trip somewhere. I don't need to be driven off of a cliff because of a glitch in the broken garbage software. I don't need it. I got other things to deal with today. I don't need that on top of it. So, once again, all you really missed yesterday at the end of the video were the regular plugs. And I even watch these things before I make them live now, just to make sure they generally work. But I've let go. I've let go of any attempt at trying to have any kind of perfection with this project. Maybe once when I get a roof over my head and the ability to organize and do things a little bit more professionally and have an actual workspace, I'll put some more effort into polishing things up, and I'll make the videos a little more professional. I really can't wait for the day that I can take this whole pile of hashtag homeless videos, throw them into a single playlist on the channel, and then start a new series of videos, maybe 2. I don't know. I don't really know exactly how I'm going to do it, but that's something to worry about tomorrow. I've got enough to worry about today. Man, yesterday, like the thing with being homeless, man, even if you're staying at a homeless shelter, there are so many things that you deal with, like the library. Like I've said, having to go to the bathroom is such a big problem. I have to pack down my entire workstation, throw it in my bag, go to the bathroom, come back, unpack everything, set it all back up, and the only way to really unplug the external hard drives from the MacBook, for whatever reason, garbage software, I can't just eject them and like with the software command to eject the drives and then just close the clamshell on the MacBook and put it into sleep mode and come back. I have to shut the thing down. I have to quit every piece of software. If I'm running so much as a web browser, it won't let me eject the disk drives without just hot swapping them, which is not really good. You could basically make your drive inoperable if you do that too many times. So here, most of the time you're not going to have a problem with that on a Macintosh, but it's not, the software is going to yell at you. It's going to tell you, don't do that, don't do that. And then one of these times you'll do it and you'll plug your drive back in and your drive won't work anymore. So I'm trying to be really careful with all of that stuff. And for some reason, I don't understand why. It's something I have to look into. There's just so many freaking settings. On a MacBook Pro, on the one I'm using right now, when you shut the clamshell and put it to sleep, it still drains the battery. And it drains the battery quick. The battery will get, if I put it away for a few hours, I'll come back, the battery will be at like 70%. And then for some reason with the Apple, the way that they do battery life management and all this stuff, and no matter how much I tweak the settings, when you plug in a power supply to a MacBook right now, it's running Sonoma, the newest OS, and you go to, your battery won't charge. It'll just, your battery will continue to drain while it's plugged into the outlet. If you're running software that's processor intensive, like Photoshop or video editing stuff, or even having too many browser windows open, it'll just kill the battery charging and it won't charge the battery. Or the battery will just it'll keep the battery charged at like 70% and it won't go up or down. And it'll just kind of hang there for hours. And so you really have to keep, at least from my experience, to do what I'm doing with this MacBook, I have to keep the battery at 100%. And once it reaches 100%, as long as it's plugged into a wall outlet, it doesn't drop. It just stays locked at 100%. But it has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with this goofy ass battery management software that they've installed on the Macs now that typically will keep your battery at about 80%. And they're trying to use AI to determine how often you use your Mac and what times of day to push the power back up to 100. And there's just, because supposedly keeping your battery charged at 100% all the time will make the battery life drastically shorter than if you keep it around 80% charged most of the time. And I'm just like, I need it to be 100% because the one time I do need to use my MacBook without being plugged into a wall, I need it to have the full availability of power from 100% to zero, not 70, 80% to zero. That's a difference. That's a major difference in the amount of time I'll get. So I don't know. Everything you use, every single thing you use. That's why, like, I go to Home Depot and I see all these refrigerators with freaking computer screens on the front, running Android and have apps and stuff like that. It's a refrigerator, for crying out loud. Open the door, get your food, shut the door, go back to your phone. Like, why do you need the whole door of your refrigerator to be a freaking computer screen running a bunch of apps? And now that's gonna, like, now your refrigerator is probably gonna have a bunch of dumbass smart green eco bullshit that keeps your food warm even though it's a refrigerator. So yeah, I just want the basics, man. I don't want this AI garbage running my life, because it's trash. So last night, speaking of garbage software, I'm up to 18 photos listed on shop.litgood.com as of last night. Etsy is a decent platform, but it's so riddled with bugs. This is my job. I'm a user experience designer, so if I were to go work at your software company, if you own a software company, the first thing I would do, if you already have a piece of existing software, is exactly what I'm doing right now. I would completely destroy it verbally. I would break it down. I would pull out every single bug and problem and broken interface and bad. I would basically just create a document. Who knows if it'll be 50 pages or more. And every single problem that I find with the software, I'm going to blast you for it. I'm going to talk to all your customers, or I'm going to talk to as many customers as I can get a hold of, ask them what they hate about it. I'm going to document it. If 20 customers all say the same thing, you're not going to like it. You're not going to want to hear it. But that's my job, is to rip software apart and articulate what's bad about it and what needs to be fixed. And so it's just my nature to sit here and complain about all this broken software that we all use, because that was my job, was to try and make it not broken. And so, or at least try to persuade companies that it's most of the reason why it's all broken is because you've got rich people at the top of the company who don't want to pay to have it fixed, because enough people are paying them to use the broken version that they don't care. And that's really what it boils down to. I mean, that is exactly it. They don't care about being the best in the marketplace. They care about making money. They don't understand that being the best in the marketplace will make you more money. But when every single competitor in the marketplace is also a broken piece of trash, then there's no real motivation for you to be the best broken piece of trash. So that's software, man. That's the software world. It sucks. And that's part of the reason why I would like to see this graphic design marketing business take off that I'm starting at hardrockbrand.com, because I could see myself getting out of the software world. I never enjoyed it. There's things about it that are okay, that are cool and everything, but I don't like the culture of software companies. It's just the way it is. I'll do it because it pays well, and that's about it. So I'm almost to the 20 photograph mark on Etsy. You know, one of the problems with Etsy, and this is just a prime example, is so when you go to my shop, you'll see that all the thumbnail images for the photographs are square. But in the seller application for Etsy, when you log in as a seller, to adjust the thumbnail, they show you a rectangle, a straight up rectangle, and they tell you to adjust the thumbnail image inside of a rectangle, but then when you go to the home page of the store, it's in a square. Who the fuck came up with that brilliant idea? That I have to look at my photograph cropped inside of a wide rectangle and then try to figure out what it's going to look like when Etsy turns it into a square. Like, they couldn't just have the crop editor, the thumbnail editor. There's a specific editor for the thumbnail image itself. And they couldn't make that the same proportion and the same square that it is on the actual storefront. And that's how broken this stuff is. I have to sit there and crop the image inside of a rectangle and then go to the store and look at it inside of a square. And then I have to kind of keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until I get it, because I can't in real time see how it's going to look on the home page of the store, and it's ridiculous. And then it's like a 5 to 6 step process to save the cropped thumbnail image in Etsy after you've adjusted it. So you adjust it, you hit save, it comes up with this other screen, you have to hit save again, and then you have to hit this publish button and do something else. And so it's like 6 steps to adjust the thumbnail image, and then I have to go to the storefront and refresh the storefront 5 or 6 times for their system to catch up, and then see whether the adjustment that I made was the right adjustment, because you can't actually see what you're doing inside the thumbnail editor. And that's just for adjusting the thumbnail image. That's all. That is how much crap. It takes like 10 minutes. Easily takes 10 minutes to get your thumbnail adjusted for your storefront, unless your photograph is a square to begin with. And so, and there's no extra, and the other store that I use, Fourth Wall, it has a completely different, ridiculous approach for creating thumbnails, and they're both broken and they both suck. And the problem is, it would be an easy fix. It would take one programmer one day to put a good solution in place, and maybe a few days of testing and merging code into the main application to get it live for the customer. But they don't even want to do that. They will not invest any developer's time They'll have a team of 50 freaking programmers, and they won't let one programmer fix that bug, even though I've looked on the user forums, which becomes tech support because companies don't give you tech support anymore. They send you to a message board where other customers all complain together and try to solve each other's problems because the company can't be bothered with that anymore. And so I go to Etsy's version of the customer support message board where the customers are now tech support. And people have been bitching about this thumbnail problem for 6 years. 6 fucking years. So they're not going to fix it. They're not going to fix it. And as long as people keep using the platform, they're not going to fix anything that's broken. And so that, like I said, that's just the thumbnail images alone. So, and there's like 25 other pieces to putting a listing together just for one photograph on Etsy. And this is why it usually takes an hour or more, sometimes 2 hours to list one photograph on just Etsy. And then I have another shop, and that shop alone, that shop takes a bunch of time, and there's a bunch of workarounds and bugs that you got to deal with. And it's insane. It's insane how bad the stuff is. And these companies, they just don't care. They do not care. But once again, 20 photos up on the store at shop.litgood.com. And once I hit the 20 photo mark on both platforms, I'm going to send you out a good deal. So only to the people who sign up for the mailing list. You know, think of the mailing list, the email list. If you like a creator, if you like somebody and you really want to follow what they're doing online, you have to subscribe to their email list, especially if there's somebody who is high on the list of candidates to be canceled. Because if I have an email list of your email addresses, then they can't stop me from communicating with you, because they could take away my email account and I'll just go set up another email account somewhere else and email all of you. They really can't shut that down. Think of it, it's like the ham radio for when you get deplatformed. Basic, old school email. That's the reason why you need to build an email list. And that, any business, if you're in business for yourself, if you run a business, the email list is more important than anything else, to be honest, because it's the one thing. Now, if you spam people too much, if you're blasting out 3 or 4 ridiculous emails a day to your mailing list, then don't expect people to pay any attention to it or care. But the email list is for you to communicate with people if all else fails. That's the way I look at it. It's a backup plan. So, you know, like I said, if I'm doing a good job with my channel and I'm reaching you guys, and especially if I'm telling you the truth about things, well, then I'm going to get deplatformed. I'm going to get demonetized. That's just part of the game. And the email list is the one thing they would have a real hard time shutting down. So once again, when I'm at 20 images, I'm almost there. On the Etsy store, shop.litgood.com, and the store that's connected to this YouTube channel, I'm going to send you all out a deal. And it'll be a deal that you won't be able to get by going to Etsy or the other store. It'll be exclusive to the mailing list. So, yesterday I was talking about starting a new company, doing graphic design and digital marketing. And a couple of you reached out to me already saying that you might be interested, and that's awesome. I would love to talk to you. One of you reached out to me about a YouTube channel and doing some design work, and I'm actually on the back burner. I am helping somebody unbeknownst to him. He may be watching the video. I'm doing some things that'll help somebody's YouTube channel look better. Creating a nice logo, some banners and things like that to go with it. That's at a very basic level, just creating some graphics that'll dress up the YouTube channel itself. But there's other things that go with a YouTube channel, and you know, it could be logos, like I said, graphics, banners, social media templates, templates for your social media posts that, you know, maybe you do these yourself, but you're using a template that was created in some sort of, maybe Canva. I don't really use Canva. I use Adobe Photoshop and the Adobe Suite for things like that. But, you know, I'm open to exploring things if, you know, people are more interested in templates that allow them to do things on their own versus just having me create stuff. I did, oh, the person that reached out to me about the YouTube channel, I did send you an email yesterday, and hopefully it didn't end up in your spam folder or something like that. So let me know if you got that. Just reply to that email address. I did get the email that you sent me through the photography website form. So once again, feel free to reach out. If any of you are interested in that kind of stuff, if you run a business, if you go to my photography site at litgood.com, there's a contact link right at the top of the page on the right-hand side, or the hamburger menu if you're on a phone. And feel free to, if you fill out that contact form, I'll get an email right away. And then I can contact you back through one of my email addresses. And I'm probably going to double check when I get when I'm doing the process of posting the video today. I'm going to check and see if I have an email account listed in my channel description, and because I should probably have something there. There's certain email accounts I don't want to use, because if you make email addresses publicly acceptable, then bots come and scrape those email addresses, and then you start getting all kinds of spam, and you can't shut the spam off because it just keeps coming and coming and coming. So I just have to find a way around that. So another viewer reached out about possibly doing a website for a 40-year-old business, and I think that would be awesome. It would be awesome to talk. I can be contacted through the contact form on my photography website, which is litgood.com. The contact button, like I said, it's at the top right. And, like I said, I'll double check. If I don't already have an email address in the channel description here on YouTube, I'll put something there that you'll be able to contact me with. So, since I'm talking about garbage software, and I've talked about Rumble quite a bit, about how YouTube is a monopoly. We just saw this week that the courts ruled that Google indeed has a monopoly on search and advertising for online advertising. They run a monopoly. And they also run a monopoly on video content, and that's called YouTube. And the only platform right now that has any chance of being a viable competitor against YouTube right now is Rumble. And I don't know how I stumbled upon this, but I stumbled upon a replay of a live video chat with, it was a group of 5 different video content producers doing a live stream. And they were talking about how Rumble sucks. And it was 5 content creators. I'll try to put a link to the video below in the description today, because I have it bookmarked. It was a really good video because it told me I'm not alone, that basically everybody that's using Rumble right now has the same complaints about the platform that I do. And if they want to become a viable competitor to YouTube, they need to address these issues. And right now, one of the people in the live chat put it perfectly, that YouTube is basically like the Golden State Warriors or the LA Lakers. They're the top of they're the top tier. They're the top team in the league. And Rumble, their closest competitor, is like a junior varsity high school basketball team in comparison. And it's so true. And they pretty much agreed with everything I had ever said about Rumble. But they agreed with everything I said, but they said they had a bunch of other observations and things that I never even thought of. And so, starting right off, everything I've said about the platform over these videos, because I keep posting my stuff there. And as a software designer, as a user experience designer, I just have a running list in my head of everything that's wrong with that platform. Like, for instance, they play favorites, and they only promote the prominent Republican grifters, and pretty much everybody else on that platform can just go pound sand. There's no discoverability, so new content creators, they can't be found, and so you just flounder over there. There are these people, the group of 5 people that I'm watching, they all get tens of thousands of views on their YouTube videos, all 5 of these people. And when they talk about what happens at Rumble, they're lucky to get 20 views on a video at Rumble. Rumble. See, the thing about YouTube is So when Rumble becomes a place where you can find videos about how to change the oil in my car, or how to deal with a clogged toilet, and all the other random, just completely random things that people search for on YouTube, then they might be able to compete. But the problem is that nobody is ever going to post a how to change the oil in your car video on Rumble when they know that nobody's ever going to look at it or see it. It's like, so that's one of the reasons why we all go to YouTube. I go to YouTube all the time when I need to figure out how to do something. And a visual demonstration would be better than reading an article about whatever it is. There was a problem with the toilet in my ex-girlfriend's apartment, and we were both looking it up on YouTube, just how to fix this thing. And then her landlord came over and fixed it after he watched a YouTube video about it. And so that's the kind of stuff, I had problems with my Jeep Wrangler all the time, and YouTube would tell me how to fix it. YouTube would give me solutions to things that, problems that I needed solutions for. Rumble, you can't find that on Rumble. They're just going to flounder. If all Rumble wants to be is the free speech alternative to people who get kicked off of YouTube, and that's their only niche, and that's their only spiel, then they're just going to flounder, and they're never going to grow, and they're never going to be a viable competitor. And, what happens if they actually do grow to a level where they are a serious competitor to YouTube? Will Rumble start censoring everybody because they got so big and now they're feeling the same pressure from the outside forces that are threatening them and coming after them? And so are they going to turn around and start censoring everybody's content and just become YouTube number 2? Like I said, these guys in the live stream, they said they were putting their content everywhere, on every platform, and the only place where they get views and they get traction on their content is YouTube. And like I said, the problem with that is YouTube, they just ruled against YouTube the other day for creating a monopoly on search and advertising, but they also have a monopoly on video. YouTube itself is the number 2 search engine in the world, second only to Google. And they're both owned by the same people. So, these content creators that were doing this live stream, they said that investing time into Rumble and putting content up there might pay off in the long run if they grow the Rumble platform, if the platform expands and gets bigger and becomes more viable. Then the fact that you were up there before it got popular might boost your content and might actually help you in the long run. But in the short term, it's a waste of time. It's a complete waste of time being up there. The big advantage of YouTube right now is that you cannot get millions of views on videos when you depend on people who already know who you are. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. The only way that you get videos with millions of views is when people who don't know who you are discover you and discover those videos. And the people will never discover you or discover those videos if the platform that the videos are on doesn't provide any opportunity for people to find you. And so whether it's your content showing up in searches or suggestions, or the myriad other ways that YouTube shows your content to people, especially the thumbnail impressions. The thumbnail impressions are the most important thing for growing your channel. I notice when I look at the analytics of this channel right here, the number of YouTube impressions that I get, which means the number of times they put a thumbnail to my video in front of somebody to potentially click on. The number of times per day that they show my thumbnails to people on the platform has a direct correlation to both the number of views that I get on any day and the number of new subscribers that I get in a day. An exact correlation. If they increase the number of thumbnail impressions, I get an increased number of subscribers. If they decrease the thumbnail impressions, I get a decrease in subscribers and views. It's a direct relationship, even though the core audience of the channel is growing. And that's the most important thing for me, is to have that connection with you guys and see the comments every day and interact with all of you. And I'm talking about the ones who watch these videos from start to end, no matter what it is I'm talking about. You know, whatever random topic comes out of my mouth, you guys are here. But you know, over time, I've noticed that, well, when I started this channel, YouTube was giving me about 30,000 impressions per day on those thumbnails. And now they're giving me about 10 to 15,000 a day on average. And I don't know, I'm not doing anything extremely different. The algorithm, it's cut me in half. It's cut the number of impressions per day in half. And as a result, the channel growth has slowed down to half of the speed that it was before I hit 1,000 subscribers. And so, you know, YouTube plays their games. I don't know exactly why it's happening, but I don't know if it's just the love that they give a new content creator and then they back off once you start gaining some traction, as just like Instagram used to do that. They'd help you get your first 1,000 followers on Instagram back in the day before Facebook ruined it. And after that, they wouldn't show your content to anybody anymore, and then your number of followers would just stay locked at about 1,000 followers, and then that's it, no more. Growing from there is basically like growing from zero, because the platform wasn't showing your content to anybody anymore. And so ultimately, the platform has more to do with your success than the viewers or the creators will ever have. And there's so many platforms that are like that, where the platform itself basically makes it so that you can't succeed. If you're trying to grow a following and you're not just going to Facebook to share photos of your family with your extended family and friends, you know, if you're actually trying to grow an audience, a lot of these platforms just get in your way now. You know, I wish I had $1 for every time I see a comment or a message saying, I don't know why your videos showed up in my feed, but I'm hooked, or something to that effect, because all YouTube needs to do to shut me down is stop showing the thumbnails to people. My channel would die instantly. But it's also in YouTube's interest to promote all kinds of random, weird content that people might want to see in order to increase the money that they make from their ad revenue. And I would assume that the sheer number of low-volume channels on YouTube does more to make them money than if they were like Rumble and put all of their focus and attention on some big-name channels and told everybody else to go pound sand. Because the volume of small channels and the views that they get combined blows the big channels out of the water. You know, think about it. 1,000 views on 1,000 channels is 1 million views. So YouTube generates 1 million ad views for every 1,000 channels that get 1,000 views on a video, as long as those channels are monetized. Now multiply that by 100. So 100,000 small channels getting 1,000 views on a video. And that's a lot. That is just as much ad revenue as some of the biggest channels on YouTube. And so from a business model alone, it certainly makes sense for YouTube to improve the reach and the growth of these small channels, because it benefits them in the long run. And so I'm always interested and fascinated by this stuff because of my life as a user experience designer, and user engagement and growth are a big part of an experience of joining a platform like this. And so this is all part of user experience design. But in terms of the interface, the UX, the user experience on Rumble, is not anywhere near as good as it is on YouTube. It's a less mature platform, and they have limited resources and budgets compared to YouTube and Google, so I can understand that. But it has a lot of broken functionality, and functionality that would be easy to fix. Just like I was talking about with Etsy, a single developer could fix a problem in a day and be done with it and make a lot of people happy, but they just ignore it. They ignore the customer. Rumble's just a typical software company. They're only interested in building out new features and not fixing anything that's broken. They just don't care. So for example, on the Rumble channel, on my Rumble channel, the videos are all out of order, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Rumble puts them on a grid just like YouTube, but Rumble just puts them in whatever random order they felt like, and you cannot change it. As a content creator, I cannot change the order in which my videos appear. So day 84 could be behind day 79, and the order of the videos could be day 84, day 79, day 81, day 80, day 82, day 83, completely out of order. And there's absolutely nothing you can do to fix it. Even if you upload them one at a time, and you upload one each day, one consecutive day to the next, Rumble will still list them in some sort of random order, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, and you cannot sort them yourself. There's no way to fix that. There's absolutely zero way you can fix that. There's no way to manually sort them. There's no way to sort them chronologically based on when they were uploaded. There's no possible fix to it. None. So even if you realize that there's no manual sort order, and you try, like I said, you try to upload them in order, so yeah, Rumble screws up the video order. But they like, do you understand how easy it would be for them to fix? It would take a programmer an hour to fix that. It would take a developer an hour to fix that. I used to be a front-end developer. There's probably 2 lines of code that they could tweak that would fix the order of videos on that page to at least be in the chronological order they were uploaded in, and not this random nonsense that they do. They won't fix it. They refuse to fix it. People have been complaining about this particular bug for 5 years on their complaint boards, and the company just ignores them. Once again, it's an easy fix. It's an easy win. It would make every single person on Rumble would appreciate this, because this affects every single person on the platform, and they're just like, fuck you, go pound sand. They don't care. These are basic things that they could fix so fast, but they don't care. And in general, the interface sucks. Navigating videos can be broken. The video player itself is broken. A lot of times you have to hit a button over and over for it to work. The upload your video process is broken. It's really wonky and screwed up. And they also do this thing where Rumble does this weird thing where you have a profile page and then you have separate channel pages. So people might find you in a search. They might, but their search is garbage too. You have to basically search for the exact thing that you're looking for, or the only search results that you'll see are right-wing Republican grifters that have nothing to do with what you searched for. And so people might find you in a search. It's doubtful. But then they don't know what to click on, because they're going to see 2 different profiles showing up, one for your channel and one for your profile. And they don't have the same content. It's another broken experience. The only positive thing of it is that you can have multiple channels. So on Rumble, I could have a separate channel for each individual topic I want to talk about under the same account. Whereas on YouTube, I would have to have a completely separate Gmail account and have a completely separate Gmail account for each individual video channel that I want to manage. And having multiple Gmail accounts open at the same time, that's a pain in the ass. There's been times in my career where I've had to be simultaneously logged into up to 5 Gmail accounts at the same time, and it sucks. Google does not have an easy way to handle multiple Gmail accounts. It sucks. So like I said, the upload process to Rumble is janky. And if you use mirroring from YouTube, where it automatically mirrors your content from YouTube onto your Rumble channel, these content creators in the live stream said, I've never done this myself, but they say it can take up to 8 weeks for your video to show up on Rumble that you posted to YouTube, even though they're supposed to be synchronized together. And so, like I've been saying, 99% of Rumble is nothing but politics. So you never see anything else, even if you're searching for stuff for entertainment purposes. I go to YouTube to be entertained. I spend I spend a lot of time on YouTube just looking for fun stuff to watch, not just educational or informative stuff. You don't see that on Rumble because it's nothing but politics, and the whole site and the whole platform is designed to just shove politics down your throat, even if there's other stuff on the platform. One of the live streamers that I was watching in this stream replay said he has 25 million views on his content on YouTube. 25 million views on YouTube. And on Rumble so far, the exact same content, he has 300 views. 300 views of the exact same content on Rumble. 25 million on YouTube. 300. Not 300,000, not 300 million. 300. If the content is good enough to get 25 million views on YouTube and it can only pull 300 views on Rumble, that's Rumble's fault. That's not the content creator. If the creator did good enough job on his content to get 25 million views on YouTube and he can only get 300 views on Rumble, that's Rumble's problem. That's not the content creator. So that's one thing that people need to understand, because if you want to get into content creation yourself, and let's just say because you're anti-censorship and you're anti, I'm against what YouTube and what Google are doing. I think it's garbage the way that they're treating the public. But the one thing, if you decide to not utilize those platforms and you decide to go to alt tech and put your content there, and then your content never grows and nobody ever sees it and nobody ever clicks on it and nobody ever views it, you might get a complex that your content sucks. You might start to believe that, well, I'm just a piece of trash and nobody cares about me and nobody wants to watch me, and it's not your fault. It's totally not your fault. It's the fault of the platforms that you're putting the stuff on. Completely. I mean, yeah, your content might suck, but even if your content sucks, you'll put it on YouTube and you won't get any traction on YouTube. So, this is the kind of stuff that I'm trying to point out to people who decide to get on the alt tech platforms. You might get zero traction. I had to learn this myself. I was trying to do the same thing with my photography, and I was trying to avoid all the mainstream platforms like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Google and all these monsters. And so all of a sudden I wasn't getting anywhere. It got me absolutely nothing by focusing on these alternative platforms. Honestly, focusing on one alternative platform got me put in prison. And yeah, it was my fault. I said some pretty messed up things. But in hindsight's always 20/20, they say. I should have just went all out like I'm doing now and started to put myself everywhere and see which ones work and which ones don't. And if you get kicked, but with the mindset of, well, if I get banned, I get banned. It is what it is, because that's probably going to happen. And if you get banned, just do what that dude Cat Turd did. He got kicked off of Twitter, so he created another Twitter account, Cat Turd 2. And now that account is like the highest performing account on Twitter. So just, if you have your own account, just do your account number 2 and see if you can get all your subscribers back, because once they figure out you're back and that you just created a brand new account and you did it in such a blatant, open fashion that like Cat Turd went from Cat Turd to Cat Turd 2. Because he was kicked off the platform, and he comes right back the next day with Cat Turd 2, and it blows up again. And it's like, yeah, fuck you, Twitter. And this was before Elon Musk took it over, but that's what you got to do these days. You just got to be an asshole. If they're going to be an asshole to you, be an asshole right back. So I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, and neither should any of you. But I don't want my YouTube channel to be the only place where people can find me. That's a setup for failure, no matter who you are. I've seen photographers who built a big following on Facebook. Facebook changed the rules. One guy I knew had almost 100,000 followers on Facebook, and I used to talk to the guy. He was in Pittsburgh. Facebook all of a sudden stopped showing his post to his own followers, and his photography sales dropped from $5,000 a month to zero. And then Facebook turned around and they wanted him to pay. They wanted him to pay Facebook to reach his own audience. And so out of his $5,000 a month in photography sales, his profit was about $2,500, let's say. But to reach his audience of about 100,000 people, now Facebook says, you have to pay us or we're not going to show your content to the people who follow you. And they wanted $2,000 a month from him. So now if he starts paying Facebook $2,000 a month, he might go back to making $5,000 a month in photo sales, but his profit's going to be $500 and Facebook's profit's going to be $2,000. So that's what they do. They have 100 different ways to shut you down, and they can do it in the blink of an eye. He said that his photo sales went from $5,000 a month to zero, because he found out Facebook wasn't showing any of his posts to any of his viewers, and people were showing up on his page saying, hey, I don't see your photos anymore. What happened? Did you disappear? But according to him, he's looking at his feed and all his photos are there, daily poster. And but the people weren't seeing them anymore. The number of likes that he would get on a photograph went from, 1,000, 5,000, 6,000 likes on a single photograph down to 1 or 2 likes on a photograph overnight. Overnight this happened. They shut him down overnight. And all his eggs were in the Facebook basket. He didn't have a presence on any other platform. Facebook shut this guy's photography business down in the blink of an eye overnight. And they can do it on YouTube. They can do it on any platform. They can shut you off. It shouldn't be. They should. These monopolies should not be able to behave this way. There's a lot of problems going on with the internet in general. And the internet is supposed to be a place where people can freely explore ideas, and it's the equalizer in this world. But they're turning it into a privately run place where only the people they determine to be successful will become successful. And so, back to Rumble. Someone in this live stream was saying that humans curate all the content on Rumble, and it's all curated and grouped and promoted by humans who only care about right-wing politics. So that's why that's all that you ever see when you go to that platform. And it's the only content on that platform that has any chance to succeed. And it's not enough for them to compete with YouTube. As far as like the live streamers go, Rumble doesn't give you a permanent API key. So every time you do simultaneous live streams to, Twitch and Kick and Odyssey and Rumble and YouTube all simultaneously using an app called StreamYard, you have to go and change all of the configuration settings for Rumble every single time you do a live stream, because Rumble doesn't give you a permanent key to use for your account. Rumble doesn't allow you to create a custom URL for your page until you reach a certain number of followers. And for me, that was like 10 followers when I was able to create a custom URL. But it took 2 months for me to get the 10 followers. And I'm pretty sure that all 10 followers are bots anyway. And, I've said this more than once. All of the successful people on Rumble started by building an audience on YouTube. So the audience just follows them over to Rumble when they get kicked off of YouTube. And most people who use Rumble are like me. I think to myself, gee, I want to go listen to this guy or that guy who's no longer allowed to be on YouTube. So I go over to Rumble, I watch these people's videos, and then I come right back to YouTube to browse and search around for random things that interest me. I never do that on Rumble because I know I'm never going to find anything but right-wing politics, because their search and everything else, it only highlights right-wing politics. I think it's crazy that you have to go to YouTube to find content about how to use Rumble, because you can't even find that on Rumble. I mean, that tells you right there how broken Rumble is. That if you want to learn how to use Rumble, you got to watch videos on YouTube, because they don't exist. You can't find them on Rumble. So the thing is that YouTube treats the viewer, you guys, as the main customer, not the creator. So that's why they're willing to serve up all this random stuff to everybody. And that's why you see interesting and weird things popping up in your feed where you might wonder, why the hell are they showing me this? And then you found videos of some random homeless guy in Jamestown running his mouth for 84 days in a row about how much it sucks being here in Jamestown. Rumble doesn't do that. Instead, their main focus is the grifter, the Republican grifter. So whenever you log in as a new user, it's all, check out Crowder. Hey, check out Laura Loomer. Hey, look at Dan Bongino. Here, look at Cat Turd. Here, look at Roger Stone. And, just insert 20 other right-wing grifters in there, and you don't see anything else when you go there. That's the only thing you see when you go to Rumble. YouTube tries to predict what you might want to watch, and they throw random things at you because their goal is to keep you watching. So when you click on those oddball videos, it was done on purpose. It was done to make you go, what the hell is this? And then click on it and get sucked into some random thing like a guy setting up a 5-mile-long racetrack to have marbles race against each other down the side of a mountain, or a 2-mile-long Matchbox car racing track down the side of a hill. And you get sucked into watching this for an hour and you wonder, what the hell, how am I going to get that hour back I just lost out of my life? YouTube does that to get you addicted to the platform and to keep you watching and to keep you from leaving. And it works. And that's why you end up seeing all these random things that you would never think would be popular. It's because YouTube is willing to give new people a chance and see how they're willing to give content a chance. And if people think it's great, then they pass it on to more people. And it's all done automatically. It's not a person doing it. And also 60% of YouTube viewers use the mobile app. So they've put more effort into the mobile app than the desktop app. That's why it's easier to shop for my photography on the mobile app, because they show up right under the video. You can't do that on the browser version. They make it easy to stream your videos to your TV from your phone. I used to do that all the time. In fact, 95% of the things I'd watch on TV for the last 10 years has been YouTube videos. Now, I don't even watch the streaming channels that much anymore, and I certainly don't have cable TV. The only reason I keep doing these videos in vertical format is because of TikTok. And because I started these videos and I did TikTok and YouTube together. And everybody was telling me, oh, you got to do TikTok. Nobody's watching YouTube. Everybody's on TikTok now. And, that wasn't true. And I knew that wasn't true. But TikTok favors vertical format videos. And so I didn't want to have to make a separate video for YouTube and a separate one for TikTok. Rumble. Back to Rumble. The email spam. The email spam that you get from Rumble, it never stops. Anytime you subscribe to a new channel, you get bombarded with email from it. You have to go back in, and there's this ridiculous process to unsubscribe. You can't just set a preference to not get spam across the board. So I constantly, every day, I get 20 emails from Rumble. And I have to go and unsubscribe to all these 20 things that Rumble sent me email because of, and then the next day I'm getting more spam, and I gotta unsubscribe from that, and it's really cumbersome and ridiculously stupid. But back to YouTube. YouTube will demonetize and ban anyone they want for any reason. It doesn't matter how polite you are. It doesn't matter how political you are. This is what they were saying on that live stream yesterday. And I hear this all the time from people from all subjects and all channels. You don't have to swear. You don't have to talk about politics. YouTube will just randomly ban you. They'll shut you down. They'll demonetize you, or they'll keep you up and they'll make all the money off of the ads that play on your video, and they won't give you any money. So, Rumble is not set up as much for advertising like YouTube is. It's more set up for like a community support system. There's, for example, paid subscriptions on Rumble. If you create content that has a paid subscription where people pay to see extra content and bonus content, you keep 100% of that money for now. YouTube gives the creator 30%, and they keep 70% for themselves for the same thing. So, just like all the other YouTube paid features, if you donate to me with the button on this channel, YouTube will keep 70% of that donation. I get 30%. But if you go to donate.litgood.com, the digital chicken bucket, Square keeps 5%, which is a little bit high because PayPal, when I was using PayPal, they kept 3%. So a $100 donation on PayPal would leave me with $97, but on Square it's $95. But Square is 100 times better than PayPal in every way imaginable, and I don't care about the higher fee. Square fees are a lot less when it comes to plugging them into my own website to take payments for my photography. And there are other aspects of Square. If I'm doing a brick and mortar store, or if I was selling photos at an art show, and I'm using the little Square reader that swipes credit cards and does all of that, they take about 3%, the standard 2 to 3% that most credit card processing companies take. So their fees for the donation page are a little bit high, but they automatically deposit the money into my bank account like that. If you donate to the donate.litgood.com chicken bucket, the money drops into my bank account the next morning. Unless it's the weekend, and there's a setting that I can tweak where they'll drop it in on the weekend. I just don't even, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not in that much of a hurry. But I've heard something else about Rumble. Going back to Rumble again. I guess Rumble is lying about their views, so that when you see that a video has 1,000 views, what that number is, it's actually the impressions that the thumbnail got in feeds and in listings and stuff like that. YouTube, I might get 30,000 impressions in a day, and that might lead to 1,000 views on a video. Okay, that's the difference between an impression and an actual view. So for 1,000 views on Rumble, when you see that a video got 1,000 views, that means that the video probably had 100 people viewing it. Actual views. So if so my videos on Rumble that show 25 views, that probably means they got 0 views. That's just 25 times that somebody saw the thumbnail show up in a search result or a suggestion list. That doesn't even mean that they clicked on the thumbnail. So Rumble's lying about their analytics to try and make themselves seem bigger than they are. And that's a problem with me. I don't like people who lie. But anyway, and I know that some of the bots are coming to my Rumble channel because I read a few episodes ago, I read you some of the spam email that I was getting from Rumble. The people that leave comments on my videos are just spam bots trying to get me to buy something from them. And they're trying, most of the time, 99.999% of the time, it's some spam bot telling me if I go over to Fiverr or some other thing and pay this person $20 or $100, they'll get more views and subscribers to my Rumble channel. Like, great, I can pay somebody $100 to get 1,000 bots to subscribe to my Rumble channel, and then instead of getting 10 spam emails a day from these freaking bot spammers, I'm going to be getting 2,000 emails a day from the bot spammers. No, thank you. I'm not doing that. It's more that honestly, it's more annoying than all the porn spam bots that I get on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, because at least the porn spam bots that are on Twitter, at least you can go look at their profile and see some photos that are worth looking at before you, and as far as I care, I just let them follow my account because it increases my follower count on Twitter. And it's one of those things, you got to be popular to be popular. So I have close to 100 followers now on my Twitter or X account or whatever it is. And, I've got these followers, but I think maybe 5 of them are real people and the rest of them are spammy porn bots. So, but whatever, if I have 200,000 followers on Twitter someday and 10,000 of them are real people, so be it. It is what it is at this point. So that's it for the video today. I know I went on a long-winded tour of why Rumble sucks, but that was just what caught my attention yesterday. I was listening to these people talk about it in the background as I was working on things yesterday. So I already did the plugs, and I'm going to check the time. I already know I'm way past the time. Oh, we're actually under an hour according to this. And if I stop it right now, I can put it on TikTok. Bye.